because when you are operating at the edge of chaos, you must at least have a radar. The other part that also becomes important is the part of just dealing with as you are looking at where you want to be. You also need to have a reflection of what in business terms they would say an attribute mapping. What did you achieve the previous time? Where do you want to improve? But also what then becomes important and is a dangerous thing to do is to also do just a risk assessment of as you are as because then it defines even it makes you to you said you must do a lot of reading. I want to say one of the things that makes you not to have nights to sleep for a long time is to do an environmental scanning around yourself. When you do that, you begin to look at where the world. I mean, talking AI, you begin to say, what does this mean for me? How do I align to what is happening? Your ChatGPT, what does this mean about my academic life? What are the new things that I must learn to be able to get there? What are the risks that are there? Even in terms of your family itself, you need to be very much aggressive in analyzing risks that even are associated with your own family, and begin to say then how do you adjust, how do you deal with this, because it's not going to be you dealing with them. Some of these things are spiritually managed, but at least you must know what you are dealing with, and begin then to say how then do you deal with, for example, there are things like eventualities of losing a parent. It's a reality that if you are having an elderly parent, you need to make sure that there's a plan that you have. How are you as a family adjusting to some realities? There are realities that you would not know. There are realities that would be there. And you begin then to look at how then do you adjust to that. One of the things that I've seen as a risk, Sean, as we are the old guards that were, if you have been in the teaching profession, the first thing we're told is about insurances. Other people think it's bad. I'll tell you, when I compare with the current crew of our own kids who want to quantify that an insurance is expensive. But when you look at the fact that the maintaining cash is actually a challenge that they cannot deal with, then you begin to say, who do you deploy to be able to talk to these people about what they need to understand about insurance being a risk management strategy? Because you in as much as you are covered yourself, you want people around you to also to be covered, but they cannot be covered by you. Someone must bring a sense to them. So for me, these are some of the things that keeps me alive beginning of the year awake, if I put it that way, because you're looking at what are the real issues that are surrounding you and surrounding you as a family, because charity begins at home. And how do you deal with those? Getting then to the and it goes back then to the issue of, once you are environmentally scanning yourself, you still need to deal with the kids, because it does not help to be progressive and then you are having kids that are stuck. How do you assist them to permeate this Rubicon that seems to be harder to permeate, where you find kids that are operating on contracts? And I mean, you cannot base your future on contracts that are 1 year, 2 year, or even, so how do you assist the process such that there is stability? And how do you use who you are to assist the young people to get into the field? I will share with you, when my life in the military, every year I had a set timeline that this year I must have I wouldn't say demilitarized, that's not the language. I was very clear that I must have so many from the Navy that have actually imparted skills in terms of the civilian world, so many from the Air Force. So that tells you that my unit was full of people in uniform. But I was clear that if there's going to be a meat market, which is the orientation, I must have some people that I would have trained who then can be deployed there to assist. So skills transfer was intentional in terms of the planning, and it assisted me because I mean I can boast and say really, only yesterday I was one of my kids who was just opening for cars. She started at the bar as an advocate. I'm talking about a person who was just at an MSDS opening for cars, but he was brought to me to career manage, amongst others, from the Navy, from the Air Force. And when you see that you have added life, a civilian life, to a person who was in uniform, you know that at least there's something that you've done. Because we must not, the qualifications I have will make sense when I transfer that to somebody else. And that person is able to say, surely in my space, I had an advocate, Ntsaluba, who had qualifications starting from law to science. And that must manifest in other people, not in me, because you're going to die with qualifications, but your legacy lives forever. For me, legacy becomes important. Thank you, Sean.